He realized the food bank was missing entire pallets of donated food, and the numbers only broke one way. Boxes marked not for resale vanished after hours, logs didn't match deliveries, and the same van kept showing up off schedule. By the time David started writing the totals down himself, this wasn't suspicion anymore. It was theft hiding in plain sight. He stacked cans faster than anyone else. Rows lined up perfectly, labels forward, no dents, no mess. David liked order. The warehouse didn't. It hummed with noise. Hand trucks rolling, tape guns snapping, someone laughing too loud near the loading bay. Friday evening light cut through the dusty windows. Volunteers were packing the last boxes for weekend distribution. Karen Holt stood near the exit, smiling for a local reporter. Her blazer was too bright for the room. "We served 20,000 meals this quarter," she said into the microphone. David looked at the clipboard in his hand. 12,000, maybe. The reporter didn't ask for proof. They never did. He kept working. A label printer clicked beside him, spitting out white stickers one by one. USDA food aid, not for resale. The sound was steady, mechanical, almost comforting. Then he noticed the stack of sealed boxes behind the office door, 40 of them, marked for schools, already gone from his list. "Karen," he said quietly, pointing to the gap on the pallet. She glanced over her shoulder, barely pausing between smiles. "We move things fast, sweetheart. You wouldn't understand logistics." The word sweetheart stayed in his ears longer than it should have. By the time the reporter left, half the warehouse was in shadow. The smell of cardboard and burnt coffee hung in the air. David flipped through the logbook. Same drivers, same gaps, whole pallets missing every Monday. He tore a scrap of paper from the pad, wrote the numbers, folded it once, and slid it into his pocket. He wasn't angry yet, just curious. The kind of curiosity that sits quiet but doesn't die. The label printer stopped. Silence filled the space. Then, another sound. A van engine outside, low and familiar. David looked through the break room window. White delivery van. No logo, no record in the schedule. The driver didn't look up as he loaded the last crate. The taillights disappeared down the empty street. David stayed still for a long time. Then he reached for the logbook again and underlined the date, twice. The next week, he started counting the boxes himself. He waited until everyone left before doing it. One row at a time, quiet, methodical, every crate, every label. The warehouse lights buzzed overhead, flickering in that tired yellow way fluorescent bulbs do. He used his phone flashlight for the dark corners, muttering the numbers under his breath. Nothing about it felt heroic. It was just checking facts. By Tuesday, the pattern showed up again. Pallets arriving full, leaving lighter. Karen called him our most dedicated volunteer in front of the new group. Cameras flashed. She handed out thank you cards with her signature printed in gold. He smiled back, because that's what you did. Then he slipped into the office when no one was watching and took a photo of the delivery schedule. The label printer kept spitting stickers like a metronome. Each one felt heavier now. USDA, not for resale. He stuck them on boxes anyway. The rules still mattered to him, even if they didn't to her. That Thursday, the white van came again, same driver, different hour. Engine running, lights off. David froze behind the shelf, pretending to count boxes. Karen appeared with a small envelope. The driver said something low. She laughed, too softly. The sound felt wrong in the empty space. Seconds later, the van rolled away. He checked his watch. 9:42 p.m. At home, he opened his laptop, scrolling through his notes. The spreadsheet looked simple. Dates, weights, signatures. But each empty cell meant missing food, maybe 50 meals gone every time. He stared at the totals column. It wasn't a mistake. It was a system. When Karen passed him on Friday, she touched his shoulder lightly. "Don't overthink it, honey. Just do your part." He nodded, but her tone, it wasn't casual anymore. It sounded like a warning dressed as kindness. That night, he stayed late again. Outside, rain hit the tin roof in waves. He copied the log entries by hand, double-checking the numbers. Each line steadied him, like proof against gaslighting. By midnight, he had a folder labeled missing inventory. He closed the laptop, looked at his hands, and whispered, almost like a test. Okay. It wasn't anger yet, but it was close. He started printing everything. Receipts, shipping manifests, even the sign-in sheets the volunteers used. The printer's rhythm filled the empty office, a mechanical heartbeat in the quiet warehouse. Every document he touched became a piece of proof. The air smelled like toner and cold metal shelving. He didn't rush. Each page slid neatly into a brown envelope marked by date. At first it felt ridiculous, like he was playing detective in a story no one would believe. But the more he printed, the clearer it looked. Same vendor names, same truck plates, same missing stock. Every Thursday night, another batch disappeared. The pattern wasn't hidden anymore. It was screaming in black ink. He stopped sleeping well. Even in his apartment, he kept hearing that printer sound, the slow peel of labels off the roll. Sometimes he'd wake up thinking about one missing box of cereal and wonder who never got it. There was a weight to the numbers that hadn't been there before. 3 weeks in, a delivery driver arrived early. Not the usual guy. This one wore the company shirt and looked confused. "We already dropped this pallet last week," he said, checking his clipboard. Same barcode, same weight. David felt the back of his neck tighten. He asked for a copy of the slip. The man handed it over without question. The proof sat warm in his hands, fresh from the truck printer. It even had Karen's signature. That night, he cleared his table at home. Open laptop, 3 folders, a cup of cold coffee. He lined up all the manifests in order, cross-checking every number against his notes. When he finally hit sort by date, the missing pieces fell into place. The totals glowed on the screen like an accusation. He renamed the file, Missing Inventory, then added a subtitle almost without thinking, Where the Food Went. He sat back, listening to the hum of his refrigerator. No one else would see it yet. But he knew. It wasn't about catching her anymore. It was about proving he hadn't imagined it. The truth was right there, cell by cell, waiting for light. The warehouse was almost silent that night, just the low hum of the refrigerators and the occasional creak of metal racks. He sat at the desk near the back wall, the glow of his laptop reflecting off the silver foil of sealed boxes. His fingers hovered over the keyboard. One last check. Every barcode, every timestamp, every fake signature, clean, traceable, undeniable. He didn't look over his shoulder, but he felt the weight of the place pressing in. Somewhere down the aisle, a roll of tape dropped and rolled across the floor, stopping near his boot. He waited, listening. Nothing, just the machines breathing around him. He copied the spreadsheet into a folder called Community Records, dropped everything inside, receipts, screenshots, manifests. The cursor blinked, steady and cold, waiting. One click, create public link. Anyone can view. For a moment, he hesitated. His hand stayed on the mouse, still and steady. There was that tiny voice, the one that said maybe he should tell her first, give her a chance to fix it. Maybe it wasn't his job. But then he remembered the driver, the envelope, the empty boxes that should have been food for families. He exhaled once and clicked share. The screen flashed, link copied to clipboard. He sent it to one place, an open Reddit thread titled, Where Your Donations Go. The post was 6 lines long, no names, no drama, just facts. 10 minutes later, his phone started vibrating. Then again, then nonstop. Notifications stacked faster than he could read. Someone found the grocery store's address from one of the barcodes. Someone else linked a local news account. The thread exploded. By morning, the parking lot outside the warehouse was full of police cars and cameras. Karen was mid-interview, holding a coffee cup, still smiling when 2 officers walked in. She turned, confused, but not for long. David stayed by the back door, gloves still on, watching her leave in silence. The sound of flashing cameras bounced off the walls. He didn't feel proud. He didn't feel much of anything. Just relief that the numbers finally spoke for themselves. When it was over, he went back inside and peeled a new sticker from the printer. USDA Food Aid, not for resale. He pressed it firmly onto the nearest box. The next morning, the warehouse felt different. Quieter, cleaner, almost too still. The reporters were gone. The police tape had been pulled down, and a new supervisor, someone from the city, walked the aisles with a clipboard, trying to sound confident. David kept his head down, stacking cans, sorting labels, moving through his routine like nothing had changed. But everything had. The label printer was running again, the same rhythm as before. Only now the stickers read community distribution. He liked the sound of that, steady, honest, unpretentious. Every print came out smooth, no jams, no smudges. He lined them up one by one, pressing them onto boxes that would actually reach people. Nobody talked much. The other volunteers glanced at him sometimes, not sure what to say. A few whispered, trying to figure out if he was the one who'd leaked the documents. He didn't confirm it. He didn't deny it either. The papers called him an anonymous whistleblower, and that felt fine. The truth didn't need a name attached to it. Karen's office door stayed closed, the nameplate already gone. They'd emptied it fast. Photos, plaques, the fake award certificates she'd hung everywhere. Only the faint squares of cleaner paint showed where the frames had been. He stood there once, just looking, then turned off the light and walked away. Outside, a truck backed up to the dock, its brakes hissing in the cool morning air. New supplies. Real ones. Boxes labeled for shelters, schools, clinics. He helped unload them quietly, the sound of tape and metal clinks filling the air again. When the shift ended, he cleaned the desk, closed the logbook, and wrote the date. Slowly, carefully, like it mattered. Then he put down his pen and rested his hands for a moment on the edge of the table. There was no applause, no speech, just order. He looked around once more, caught the rhythm of the label printer still humming, and exhaled. Justice didn't roar. It just kept moving, steady, quiet, one box at a time.